Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Oh, Bruce, I am going to send you a message real quick for self-preservation purposes. I will explain. Give me un momento. I'm waiting on Patrick to join us, so just give me 1 second here. Let me type this really quick. Sorry, guys. I should have waited. Okay. Sorry about that. I have too many windows open. This is the one I want. Hello. Okay. Oh boy. So yeah. Hello everybody. I want to thank you for joining me tonight very much. I took last week off. I have a lot going on this week actually, but I had a friend who went through some personal stuff, and it's not my business to talk about it, but it was really sad stuff. So I needed a break from the world for a minute. So that's why I wasn't on last week. And I'm back. So despite the fact that I have a really busy week right now, I'm going to go over some things that I'll go ahead and start with what I was gonna talk about. So tonight, in case you didn't see the description, Patrick has some thoughts on the probate case and where the judge's head might be at, or what he thinks the judge is leaning towards. And I'm so sorry, I'm not saying hello to everybody. Thank you. Hello. Sorry. Hello. You guys have no idea how much I want one of those kittens. But I can't. My pulmonologist says no. So, hello. Just trying to get through everybody. Thank you very much, Ivy. I really appreciate you. And yeah, it's tough stuff. Definitely, if you're lucky enough to have children enter the world, hug them as much as you can and give them as much love as possible while they're here, because some people just don't get a fair shake in life. So anyway, Patrick has some thoughts on, like I said, the probate court, and I found some stuff on the San Francisco house that kind of lines up with what we talked about in the last video, which I was wrong about. And somebody corrected me in the comments, and I did post an edit to the description, but I said that the William, I think, that was referenced, or whoever it was a prior death that had been referenced. Oh, here we go. I can add him. He's here. Yay.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey, sorry to be late.
I can't hear you. Oh, I'm dumb. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
So I've only done this 2 ways. I've done this by myself. I do this when I join people. I forget to turn my volume on. I could probably hear you now.
I feel like we're all running into that.
No, I still can't.
Oh, wait. 1 second.
Hold on. It says your microphone's on, so I think this is me. Give me a moment.
No, I think it's my microphone. You should be able to hear me.
I wonder if I'm going to have to turn off this other microphone that I have.
Default speaker. Can I test it?
What is going on?
Audio.
You can hear both of us, so yeah, so it's me.
Oh, they can hear.
How to fix that?
Hello, everyone.
It's got to be the microphone I'm using. And I'm sure there's a way to fix that, but I haven't played with it enough to learn any of that. So let me do one thing real quick here. Edit mic settings. No. Well, this is fun. Hold on a second, guys.
Watching how the magic is made. No, you can't hear me.
Because if I, oh, that's not going to work. Hold on a second. Trying to think of different ways to fix it, but let me just take myself out for a second. Oh, wait. Default. No. It's supposed to be using my, okay, well.
Test.
Hold on. Let me just figure out
Let's see.
What microphone is my microphone? Okay, can you guys still hear me? What is going on?
Okay, can you hear me now, Tiff? I'm trying to think why you wouldn't be able to hear me. It wouldn't have be your microphone, it'd be your speakers.
Well, okay. Test. Guys, I don't know what to do. Hold on. Guests. Play a sound. Da-da. No. Audio.
Yeah, it would be.
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to die right now. This is great. Okay, hold on. Let me unplug this mic and see if that helps.
Yeah, it would be your speakers, I would think.
Hey, can you say something?
Yeah, of course. Yes? Still no?
Wait. Oh, now try.
Okay, testing?
Thank God.
Oh my God. I don't know what just happened, but I'm glad it worked out.
So my husband bought me a microphone and camera, and they're great. IT Goatee, Brad recommended them. And but I haven't played around with them too much. So I've only ever streamed like 2 videos where I was by myself and didn't have to worry about volume and hearing other people. I think Bruce suggested this and I didn't listen to him. Probably need headphones to go with them.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Help.
Yeah, that's me.
You can go as like big or as little as you want with these crazy setups. Like
yeah, I know. And like this, I was just happy to like it turned on and it did what it was supposed to do, because there's like all these dashboards and stuff for them. And I'm like, I don't need all that. I just need a better microphone than my laptop microphone. But yeah. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
Like I had like 14 different options and none of them were the right one. So
Wow.
oh, okay. Back on track now. I was just trying to introduce them a little bit about like kind of how you had thoughts about the probate case and the judge based on what you've analyzed in the documents, which I haven't even looked at that angle of it, and probably couldn't analyze it definitely couldn't analyze it in the same way you do. And then that I have the San Francisco house history going back to 1990, and how I think that ties in a little bit with the probate. And I want to show some things that I looked at before and had it kind of like in the back of my head, but once I really started looking at things, I found a mortgage I never knew about, number one. And I found some interesting stuff. So we'll show that too.
Is the top line conclusion that they made less money from the sale, or is that not related to what you think?
Oh, yeah. So here, I can show this while we're at it.
I wish I could
show you guys the little spreadsheets, right? Cat lady spreadsheets. It's always spreadsheets. I made a spreadsheet of the San Francisco house Is it showing it? I can't. No, it took away my screen. Hold on, guys. There we go. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's see if I can play with that a little bit to make it better. Probably. I just do that. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna just go make it screen so I can see. So the San Francisco houses actually, both are not on this page, but I have it. Oh, I shouldn't do two things at once. Bear with me.
I just see the mortgage chain for San Francisco.
Yeah, I have to scroll. I guess I did. Okay, well, click off of that box there, Tiff. Let me see if I can just minimize it over here. So I can kind of do. Oh no, that is really good. Okay, I swear to God, guys, I've done this before. I'm just not having a good night about it.
Oh,
Okay.
what you trying to figure out? I'm a amateur Excel sheet.
Yeah. So I like columns. I'm a column person.
Mhm.
So that's why I have it set up this way. So anyway, yeah, on this document, I have broken down, the purchase of the San Francisco house, the bigger one. They did have a condo before this one that they sold, but they actually borrowed against it to buy this house. So on the same day that they bought this San Francisco house on the hill, I call it the Full House house.
I think the same thing.
They took out $300,000 mortgage on their existing condo so they only had to come up with like $6,000. I mean, they probably had some costs in there too. So let's say
they took a
25.
mortgage out to pay for their house. Why would not just take a mortgage out?
They took two mortgages out to buy the house.
Oh my God.
Right. So then they took the first and second out on the Hill house, right? To buy it. And then they still needed some more money down. So they took out $300,000 and they had an equity to equal the sales price of the new house. I mean, it's not entirely uncommon. We used to call them bridge loans, where like your house hasn't sold yet. So you borrow against the one that you are going to sell.
Mhm.
And then when it does sell, you pay that loan off, right?
Yeah, you in theory you pay it off. It's almost like a payday loan. Like, it just gets you over the hump.
It does, right? I've had some interesting conversations with people in Discord, some newer people that have shown up in the Discord, that are insisting that Ron made millions for decades, and I just don't agree with that. I just don't agree with it. I've seen the articles about Ron's income and contract agreements that he's
Oh, you have? Yeah. See, that's all that matters, is whether or not that shit's real.
right. And so I just don't believe that. And this is kind of also why, because you again don't typically max out your debt levels to buy a house that you should be able to afford. And Bruce is right here. I think that's exactly what I think they did anyway. Because I don't think they had a full 20%. Maybe they did.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of it. Yeah, it's like, oh, if you don't have the down payment, you just get a loan for the down payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that makes sense. Like, but it makes sense if you're like 30 and just got your first job making $55K and you like want to, own real estate and start somewhere, but it doesn't make sense
for your first house. It's your first house, right? Like, I'm having a hard time with it because it wasn't the first house. And so it doesn't make sense to me that kind of financing was done. But a lot of bad decisions too there. to their credit too, a lot of bad decisions were made in the late 90s, which is kind of what led up to the foreclosure crisis, right? So it could be that a lender gave them bad advice on it. Again, I just don't understand how, if you're buying a $1.4 million house, how you don't have the down payment for it.
And do we have those like mortgages from around that time on the spreadsheet?
Yeah. So I didn't spreadsheet the condo because the condo, so the deed index only goes back to 1990 in San Francisco, and the condo was owned from I don't know what, till it was sold in 1999. So there isn't a whole lot of information on it. They did, however, I did pull copies because they did definitely mortgage the heck out of it while they owned it, right? And you can see that. Matter of fact, I'll just pull that up now.
And so they bought what's it called? Fresh Prince in 98.
Yeah, they bought that in 98, and at the end of, I want to say it was December, and then they sold the condo in February of 99. So soon after, like not stop share. I gotta add this on my page. I know I threatened to do this the other day and I didn't. Learn a better way to switch screens. Okay. So if we look here,
I'm a visual learner, Tip, so I have to write all this crap down.
That's why I made the spreadsheet. Well, again, I didn't make a spreadsheet on the condo because it's a small part of the story. But the mortgage that they had on this house, like the most current one I could find prior after 1990, when the register started in this new system, was $471,500. So $471,500 they mortgaged in 1992, May 1st, 1992. They were probably going to buy baby girl a pony or something.
On the condo.
And then, yeah, this is on the condo. And then in 1997, we see this another mortgage. So this would have been a refinance mortgage 5 years later for $582,000. So another $100,000 in equity is pulled from that condo. And then some of these copies are really bad. And I don't know if they'll be any better if I purchase them. I doubt it because I think it's just old scanning. But this is not. Yeah, this is the one. So this is that. I can barely see it right here, but it's $300,000.
And when was that?
And this was the same day they bought the Hill House.
Oh, so that was maybe for the down payment. Yeah, because that's 1% of $3 million.
Yeah, that's their yeah, I know you mean. That's their $300,000 mortgage against their other house, the condo. It's against the condo. It was the same exact day they bought the San Francisco house. So I'm making a leap in assuming that it was used to buy the condo.
Because the thinking would be, we'll hold on to the condo, we'll sell the condo, and we'll clear the mortgage, and that's how we'll pay for our down payment.
Yeah. Without actually having any front money. And
without having any money. Yeah, right? I mean,
maybe an advisor told them to do that. I think that's a lot of fees to pay on a short term. Like, it's not a return. There's no benefit to doing it that way other than you don't have to come out for your money. But I guarantee you paid more in fees to do that.
Yeah.
Than you would have saved by not coming off that money if you had it.
Maybe that's the whole thing, is they'd rather have, something today or, anything today than something tomorrow.
And I think that's just their thing, right? Like, I think that's their thing. Because then we see the two mortgages on the San Francisco house the day they bought it, same day again. Well, these ones, every other copy after this is going to be okay, but these documents on that and for the that date. It was November of 98. These are just bad scans. But you can kind of see right here, it's for 976,500. Okay. And then we go to the second mortgage, which was $112,656.54, which is a very particular amount, but that's a balloon. They took out a balloon mortgage for the second.
That looks like about the cost of a college education. So maybe Penn State.
Right. Yeah. But no, we've got to buy a hill house. That's what we've got to do with it.
So you think that this 2013 mortgage was for the hill house?
This is that's the balloon date. It was from 98, same day they bought the hill house. Yeah. The balloon payoff date is 12/1 of 2013.
And it's a balloon. Yikes. So basically the clock is ticking. They got to sell that thing by 2013.
Yeah, it's a 15-year loan. So and I mean they like to refi, so it'll get paid off. There's plenty of it's been paid off over and over and over. So let me
the bank must have loved them. They just
telling you, I'm sure they had a well, I don't know, they had a loan officer, I'm sure, that loved them for a minute. And then I think this is going to jump ahead. So let me go back to the spreadsheet real quick. Okay. Start. Share. So that kind of gets us to, like I said, they bought the house for $1.395 million. And then they took out the two mortgages, right? And then the other mortgage against the condo to come up with that 1.395 within a few thousand of that number. And then kind of like chilled for a minute. Then they took out a mortgage in 2001 for a higher amount, probably to refinance the two that they had outstanding on it, for 1.1 million. It's interesting though, because that one, before it was paid off by refinance, it was transferred to like a foreclosure mitigation servicer. So that's interesting to me.
They just didn't pay it.
I still think this is right before Ron got some larger contracts on from the radio station. So I think they were just scraping by on that. And then we see another mortgage for, this one is weird. Okay, let me just say this. I actually have the comment in this, but we see another mortgage for 1.1 million. And then that's paid off when they refi in 2003. So we just got boom, boom, boom. 3 years in a row, we're refinancing. Again, not uncommon prior to the foreclosure crisis. This is actually,
what do you mean paid off?
So like they're refinancing. That's what these are. This 2001 mortgage is refinancing the two loans they used to buy the house, right? It's combining it into one. Then they're in 2002, they took out another loan to refinance that loan that they just took off to pay off the two priors. And then in 2003, they took out another loan to refinance the prior loan. And here's two important things, actually.
So the house just keeps increasing in value a little bit and a little bit.
Yeah. And this may even be this, I will give them grace on this little series of mortgages, this from 01 to 03, because Countrywide Home Loans was involved. And if you want a rabbit hole to go down, Countrywide Home Loans is one of them. And people will say that Countrywide, it was the cause of the mortgage foreclosure crisis. I don't know if they were the cause of it. They definitely had a hand in it, right? Because they were giving people loans that shouldn't have had loans. And then it was just, it just turned sideways fast. And valuing properties at values they didn't really deserve. So I will give them grace on that. I do think it's interesting though, because there's 2 loans to Countrywide in 2003, and I have seen this happen. And actually, I didn't personally see it. I've heard of it happening once in my career where a loan broker, a mortgage broker, brokered a loan, a mortgage, and when the loan finally on the back end, it goes through like all these audits after you get a mortgage. It goes through like a bunch of audits before it can be packaged and put into securities for resale.
Oh my God.
Which is really super boring stuff, but it goes through a final audit basically after closing. And one time in my career, I heard of a loan that the borrower had falsified their income tax returns.
Sure.
And the loan officer was like, I don't even know why they did it, because they didn't have to, right? Like they still made enough. They didn't have to. Like,
they really wanted to make sure.
There was really no reason to do it. But when these mortgage lenders do these secondary audits, these final audits, they will pull your tax returns. You'll sign a form at closing a lot of times saying that you give the lender permission to pull your actual tax returns from the IRS.
This is terrifying.
And they did, yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I hate it. You know what they used to tell us? Oh my gosh, side story. When I would close these loans, and this is during this time, they would tell us, don't let the borrower date the document. They didn't want us, the IRS form that says that you can obtain my tax returns can only be used within a certain time frame. I think it's 90 or 180 days. I'm not 100% sure. There's a certain time frame.
Like HIPAA.
Yep. They would not want us, they would put so like heavy, bold instructions. Do not let the borrower date this document. Back when we used to actually, when we didn't get documents digitally, the lender would print them and overnight them to us, and there would be sticky notes on this form saying, don't let the borrower date the form. And every time I refused, like I just took the sticky note off, and because they can't knock us for it because it's illegal.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell you not to date a form.
Yeah. I was a very similar conversation earlier today about just how lax compliance was back then, because there wasn't sophisticated systems to track the compliance.
Yep. And that's exactly it. And
I was thinking maybe they in their refinance application filed something that the lender didn't like, so that's kind of the same thing you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that this refinance happened within 3.5 months of this one, and that it did get transferred to a foreclosure mitigation servicer. So probably a law firm that was handling, look, this loan is going to get recalled. Like we need to escalate this loan. And then so they just did a refinance to avoid
foreclosure.
Yeah, because they gave some bad info, apparently. I don't know. Like I said, I've only heard of it happening. It's very rare, but it does happen. Where that would be the only reason I can think of that in that time frame, because it did happen a lot in the 90s where people would just refi back to back to where you thought, are these people even making a payment when they're refinancing so quickly? But this one was weird. It just made me pause. I don't know for sure, but it made me pause. So then we have the 03 mortgage, and then 2 more.
I just take away from it like they were skating by.
They were what?
Sorry,
I didn't hear.
I was just saying that right now it just seems like they're skating by.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, still? You still can't hear me?
No, I hear you now. I hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, for some reason, maybe there's a delay. Are you watching StreamYard or are you watching YouTube?
I'm on StreamYard. Like, I hear you. It's weird.
Really? I have a delay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's better. When I minimize the screen, the delay goes away.
Oh, okay. That's strange.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. That's fine. So then we took out right before the foreclosure crisis happens, which it did take. Oh, hello. No. Go away. Oh my gosh. Sorry. That was my screen trying to talk to me. Go away. Like I slid my cursor down and like here's today's weather came up. Sorry guys. Anyway, you couldn't see it, but I could. Right before the foreclosure crisis happened. So the way it happened was it kind of like spread across the country from east to west coast, right? Like we experienced it quicker in Michigan, and earlier on in Michigan than it was affecting people in California. And I mean by months or maybe a year, but still. So like for us, we were already in Michigan, and by 2004, we were already in full-blown crisis. But anyway, we have these two HELOCs that they took out in 2005. And I also believe that this was right before Ron's big pay bump, like his big contract came in. I think just before this time. Yeah.
I'm sure chat could figure out like when he became like their main anchor.
Yeah. It was the 2008 contract or 2009. I'm not I didn't pull it up, but yeah, it was like right before this.
Man,
and so
right before the crisis.
Yeah, we had these mortgages. And then in 2012, we have another refinance. And these mortgage, well, one was paid off in 2005, sorry. And then we have the refinance, and it paid off the first mortgage, this one, right? And it paid off this HELOC. And I think that was like JP Morgan or something. So these two combined are paid off with this mortgage. Here's why I think that date is important. When that William, where'd you go? Did you take yourself off?
Yeah, sorry. I'm in the
back.
back.
No. Did you do that or did I? Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't know.
I had to unplug one of my cameras.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry.
No, I was listening to it. Yeah, I was like, where did I go?
I was like, I couldn't see you there. It was like, anyway, that William, oh God, guys, help me. His last name was Williams. It was Liz Jan's grandpa that passed away long time ago. He passed away in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the other stream I accidentally said was her dad. It wasn't. But anyway, when her mom passed away in 2011, she was then paid money from her grandpa's estate. So her mom, it must have been some kind of like wording in his trust that it wouldn't transfer to his grandchildren until his children.
Deceased. Yeah,
exactly. So
that's called the rule against perpetuities in law.
Yes. I can't remember his first name. Last name was Williams. But anyway, so he passed away, and that payout was over $500,000, and it would have been split between her and her brother. So about $250,000. And I think that's just enough to pay off this HELOC, take out a new mortgage, and maybe restart again, right? Like maybe we do a nice reset financially, and we have like good decisions going forward, because whatever we did in the past is in the past, and now we're making good money, and we can just make good adult decisions for now.
And then it lines up with him being at the height of his career. Like, this is good for them.
It is really good for them. And then it turns so disappointing 5 years later, because this is where this right here, this mortgage is very concerning mortgage. I can actually, I'm going to bring it up and show. So we have this mortgage for $500,000 in 2017. And here's the problem with this one. I'm going to bring up the other one again. Because, come on. We're going to scooch on down to, these are all, like these were just weird mortgages. And then we get, God, this is like such a, Okay, again, such bad copies. Okay, this is our good mortgage. This is our reset mortgage. It's with an actual lender, and it's a regular amount, and there's no weird things attached to it, right? Like it's not a balloon or anything funky. And then we get to this one in 2017, November of 2017. And there's two important things on this that matter. Hold on, sorry guys.
So what is a deed of trust?
A deed of trust is just a different way of saying mortgage. It has to do with how the loan gets foreclosed on or accelerated. So like in Michigan, we do foreclosure by advertisement, and it's pretty common. And, you don't have to go through the judicial system to foreclose. And a deed of trust basically kind of, in states, the way I understand it, in states that have a judicial foreclosure process, a deed of trust kind of gets around that and allows the trustee to take ownership through a process similar to our foreclosure by advertisement process. But it's just, to my understanding, is a little quicker way of foreclosing on a mortgage is a deed of trust. Like I hate explaining deed of trust.
Well, they say it right here at the end. It says that the Owenses give the mortgage lender the power to sell the house.
Yeah. So, and like in Michigan, we call that a power of sale clause, and it applies. Yeah. It applies because like in Illinois, you can't foreclose. You can't.
So is there a section where it says like when they get to use that power?
Yeah, and I didn't grab it. So this was really hard to grab the whole thing. I'm probably going to pay for this one and just buy it and really read through it because it's like 18 pages. And so
it's used to secure the debt from 11/7/16. Okay, so it's secured to the house. So yeah, it's a mortgage.
Yeah, it is. It's a mortgage. It's just a different. Yeah, it's just a different way of calling a mortgage a mortgage. And again, there's like all this weird stuff that I don't think anybody really cares about. I probably do, but like I said, I hate explaining deed of trust versus mortgage, and I always do a crappy job of it.
And then of course I explained it to you. And then
no, it's fine. Everybody asks. It's not just you. I just do a bad job of explaining.
What's sketchy about it? You were saying,
huh?
What's sketchy about it?
So this one is sketchy because, and if I can get it to scroll, sorry guys, I'm not trying to make everybody dizzy. Is that it has this phrase, and I know we've seen this before in the Arizona house, deed of trust, assignment of rents, and security agreement. You typically see this on a non-conforming hard money loan because it's more used. Okay, take that back. Rewind. It's more used commercially, like if you have a commercial property or a property that you use as a short-term rental, where if there's income generated out of that property, the lender has the right to seize it if they're going to accelerate the loan. You don't typically see it on a residential property unless it's through a hard money lender. And I think it's just because they don't really know exactly what they're doing.
They're basically saying like, we're going to evict you and then rent your house out while you're evicted. Yeah.
Right. And we're going to keep the money from that. And yeah, it's
you're going to be homeless.
That's the bottom line of any mortgage, but that's pretty much it, right? So yeah, we have this, right? And it's California Real Property Investments LP, but the trustor or trustee, excuse me, is Pacific Private Money Inc. Right? So I mean, there's like red flags with those names. Because you typically, like, you don't see that on a loan from Bank of America, right? It's hard money for sure. And I'll get into more why. I'm rambling a bit, but I'll get into more as to how I know this. So this is for $500,000. It's a second mortgage, and it has a very short term call date. It has a balloon payment due before 12/1 of 2019. So within 2 years, 24 months.
Oh, how much?
So it's 500,000, and it's an interest-only loan. So I really want people to absorb that for a minute. It's
What
an
is that?
interest-only loan, meaning any payments that are made on this loan do not go to principal. You are paying interest only. So a man who makes $1 million a year is borrowing $500,000 at 10.5% interest only. So, and we're going to go down here and see this clause at the end.
That's
this
impossible.
One was, I know, it's right. You're just going to. This loan was arranged by Pacific Private Money, Inc., a California Bureau of Real Estate License Brokerage, license number, blah, 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 and is thus exempt from usury laws pursuant to section blah, blah, blah. I wanted to see your Thank you. How nuts is this? So
I love when they put the crime in the document.
So is this my
Wait, Tiff, I'm not sure if everyone can hear you. Hold up. Can you guys hear her?
Hate that I couldn't figure out my
voice. Yeah, you're back, Tiff.
I backed up too far. That's what my issue was. Let me scoot closer. Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you. We got you, Tiff.
Okay. I couldn't tell.
Bruce, you're exempt from usury. And yes, Tiff, go ahead. That is insane.
So as I was saying, this is not Mike's fault. This is not JFC. This is not an online smear campaign. This is Owens making bad decisions financially in 2017. Okay? Like, it's bonkers to me that narrative keeps coming up. Like Ron's, I don't know if you saw Ron's recent GoFundMe post on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it just regurgitates the online smear campaign and the, witch hunt against his daughter, or whatever he called it. Like, it's infuriating to me because it's not the case. Like, you can't get enough money and then immediately get rid of it fast enough. Like, I don't know, people who are 30 years older than me doing this is insane to me. So anyway,
the only grace I can give them on that is maybe that is related to gambling, and he got into a deep hole and had to go to a loan shark. But to only pay interest on 500,000, like not touching the principal, most people will never even see 500,000 in their lifetime.
No. And then 1 year later, here we are modifying that document to borrow more money from the same lender.
From the same sketchy lender.
They need $100,000 extra from the same lender in September. So it's not even a full year, to be honest. It's 10 months later. They need another $100,000 from the same lender. So they're modifying that 500,000 up to 600,000. Nothing else is changing. The timeline isn't changing, right? We still have a 12/1/19 payoff date. And on top of that, we're paying a fee for it. So we still have 10.5%. It's remaining at 10.5%. It's still interest only. Right here, it says that, interest only. And then we're paying a fee of, where'd the fee go? I just lost it. There was a fee somewhere. I lost it, guys, but trust me, it's there.
Oh, it's right there. It's at the top of the, right, section 2. Oh, no, sorry. I thought that was it.
I know. I keep thinking it's there, and then I lose it. Anyway, it's that same one. There's a fee. It's that amount though. It's that same reason.
I'm just thinking,
Maybe-
what kind of lender even makes this deal? And on top of that, did they even realize how close they came to like losing their house?
Yeah. And so this happened in September of 18. And then that house got put up for sale in November of 19. And I think that's important, right? Here's where the fee is. I knew I had the fee in here. So yeah, $3,900 they had to pay to get the extra $100,000 again.
Right. That's how they get you, because it's like, okay, even if this person gives me $0 in the end, at least I got this 4,000.
I'm gonna show this. I can't say that loud enough. It's insane to blame everybody else for your problems, knowing full well you paid 10.5% interest only on mortgage 8 years ago. It's bonkers. So yeah, we have their signatures. Doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. In November of 2018, we took out another mortgage with a hard money lender.
Mike Boomaka, they're getting more gangsterish sounding.
Guys, it's like this is like a visual decline in decision making, right? Like this one's for 850,000, I think. Is this the right one? I think this one is the one for 850,000. Let me see if I have the second page of that. No, hold on. Okay. Trust me, it's 850,000. It's on my spreadsheet. But this one was November of 2018. It was 850. Did I say that or did I say 8? It's 850. What I don't know is whether or not this mortgage paid off the $600,000 mortgage, because there is still no release recorded on that mortgage, which is not uncommon. Unfortunately, it's like a dirty little secret in my industry, where, especially with private lenders, they are really bad about recording releases. So when we get to that part of my spreadsheet where I say if this then that, that's why, because we don't know. I think it's entirely possible that it wasn't paid off and they just took out another $850,000.
Oh, the hard money lender didn't record it, and so they just got away with it.
Yeah. I mean, eventually they had to pay it off when they sold, right? But yeah, I think it's technically this could technically be a third mortgage for 850. But then we took out 1 year, not even 1 year. Sorry. Go ahead.
So are you saying that basically they bought their hill house and then immediately started mortgaging it with reputable people until they couldn't get mortgages from the reputable people, and then went to hard money lenders and
really doubled down, not to make a gambling joke, they doubled down on hard money stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because we have this 850. And then we have another one 6 months later with another hard money lender. This is going to be weird, right? This is a little keybacker-ish, okay? Like this is a little bit like keybacker in that, yeah, it's right. These are desperate loans being taken out, because you're basically borrowing from Bambuka, and then plus they've added a bunch of other trusts into the mix. So a bunch of people pooled money to loan to them.
Oh my God, I'm reading this. Family living trust. Oh, so basically it's like you just go to like a trustee convention and you're like, hey, you want to make your client some money? Why don't you we got this.
And so I think it must be, I shouldn't say must be, it's a thing, right? Because we have this SBS trust deed network that I'm sure is a facilitator of this.
Yeah.
Right. And then
I love when
it's,
I'm right on accident.
so it's kind of like backwards security packaging, right? Where instead of having a percentage of a security package, you actually have
The
it up
security.
front. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's just odd. And this one was for
yeah, like when you take it to its logical conclusion, it's like if they foreclosed on this, then they sell it and then they split it by their shares. Like
that's, and so it goes into that somewhere. I don't know if I kept that copy that I had pasted a bunch of copies.
that would give me
But
a
that
headache.
goes into that, like the order of who gets what if they do foreclose. It was really crazy. But
They will
yeah, so
thumb
this
wrestle.
was 6 months after the $850,000 loan. We're taking out 1.37 million. This is a second mortgage. See up here at the top, this is a second mortgage. So this one I do know did pay off the $850,000 loan because there was a release recorded for right after this was taken out. There was a release recorded for this, for the 850. So this one stayed until they sold the house.
Mm-hmm.
This
Got
might
it.
be the, this is, so that's the last one. So I'm going to switch back a second here. That's the last one. Yeah. And that's, I don't know the terms of it. It's very, very, so it's just, like I said, those are desperation mortgages.
But this is a sophisticated thing to be doing. So like this is a learned behavior in my opinion.
Mhm.
Like you don't just
Yeah.
there's no book out there. Maybe there is.
I don't think there is. I don't think there is. There's probably a website.
Oh yeah, a book in jail.
So yeah, so we have and so in my research I hadn't even known about this 100,000. But anyway, again, I don't know if those were paid off, but this 850,000 was definitely paid off when this mortgage was taken out
Mhm.
because you can see the release was recorded over here right after that mortgage was taken out. So that brings us to our sale price of 3.55 million. And my estimated calculations here on what they could have walked away with. And to be honest, I don't know which is worse, really. Because let's say the $600,000 mortgage was paid off and they didn't have to pay it when they sold the house, right? That means and these are my estimations on what sales tax and commission and title would have cost. Those are basic seller costs. There would have been some other miscellaneous fees involved, but it's a general idea. So then we've got an estimated proceeds of 798,000. Okay. Again, I don't know if the $600,000 mortgage wasn't paid off and they had to pay it off when they sold, then they get, because it had fees added to it as well.
Yeah.
They had to pay like 2 payments at the end. That would have been 193,595 they would have received. But even if they got this much money, 6 months later ish, when they bought not even 5 months later, when they bought the Scottsdale house,
they did it right again. Tiffany's upset.
Like they put no money down. So what should have been a sound financial decision to buy a house for what we can afford, 950,000. They put no money down. They borrowed 100% that house when they bought it. And then within a year, I think it was a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, I'll give them, they started pulling equity out of that house. And so it's these patterns, man. Again, this had nothing to do with Mike, Greg, Clayton, JFC, nobody besides their personal financial decisions that they are making on property they own. I think that around this time, this 2017, I think Ron took a huge pay cut, to be honest. I think he only had that million plus or whatever for about 5 years total, based on articles I've read.
That makes sense.
From reputable sources, right? I think he took a huge hit around this time, down to like 300,000 a year. And I think that's what hurt them, on top of they don't know how to scale down their spending, right? Clearly.
I mean,
Because
why
you
would
still-
they though? Because them looking at this, they came out ahead. Yeah, it was crazy, but they came out ahead in their minds. Like, I could see the reality that they create for themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, you could have established generational wealth in this time period.
Easily, because let's just do, I think it
Because you
was
had such a
50.
fucking far head start.
So 5250, which I think is what that mortgage payment was on that 600,000. Here, let's just do 12 months of it. 5250 times, that's $63,000 in 1 year. So, of interest only. That's like wild to me.
In 1 year, if you do all of the loans together, how much interest they paid?
Oh, with all of them, yeah, I don't know. Like,
And the thing is, well, my question is, how much money do you think they actually paid out of their pockets for these loans prior to the sale?
right. So did they come out ahead, right? Is that what we're yeah, I think it's possible they didn't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because
$66,000 for 1 year.
It cost them so much to borrow this money.
Yeah.
Was it worth it? I don't
So
think
they're already
cared.
carrying debt somewhere else because of this, basically. Oh, yeah. And that would explain, the credit cards and stuff like that.
Exactly.
They just care. I mean, yeah, this is probably the most legitimate way that they have to borrow money, but doesn't mean that there aren't a million other ways that they're going. And it just grosses me out, because it's like, people call this man like a legend, and like, there's no foundation, there's no scholarship, like, he did zero philanthropy whatsoever. Like, a legend of what? Like, what legacy is there other than that the shows, I guess? I don't know.
Asking questions of people who a studio arranged for you, right? Like, you didn't obtain these guests on your show naturally because you're the king of radio. It was a studio that put them on the air with you. So I just yeah. So here's my sourdough rain. Can you imagine being a homeowner most of your adult life, being 80 years old and not even having even $1 in home equity? Because that's where they're at now. They have negative equity. I think that's a pretty solid comment right there. I just, it's wild to me. Hold on one second.
Matter of fact, having some multiple of millions of negative equity.
Right. Like, Wendy, you're all set.
I will say, we may not be the cause of any of these problems, but we certainly were a part of the downfall of this, because once people started seeing the reality of what was going on, the brother didn't want to lend her money anymore. Like, there was no, like, I don't think we were responsible for this, but we probably accelerated it, but the walls just closed in.
I think it was just going to happen, and it just ran out of time, right? I feel like it was going to happen. And now looking back, right? So in this time frame, we've also got, well, this is like, I think, when did we start begging for money from the brother? In 21? And so I think, their financial downfall was definitely inevitable. Maybe we did accelerate it by hopefully shedding some light on, like I said, I'm so irritated by these GoFundMe posts, these e-begging posts, because this isn't something that just happened to you, right? It's not something that you were just going about life and you know, bad things happened, and it's not your fault, right? It just happened. So this is,
I mean, this
patterns
needs to
we've
be
seen all the way
shown
back.
to the GoFundMe community for him. Oh, sorry, I'm out of sync again because I'm looking at something.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, so I know that there are people working on the GoFundMe. So I follow this one creator who, so I don't know if you guys heard the story last year where the I think it was one or two children died in a freezing van in Detroit in the casino parking lot. The, what do you call it? The parking garage. And the father of those children, the bio father of those children, set up a GoFundMe to pay for funeral expenses that were already paid for by the city. The city, the mayor of Detroit actually came out and said they were paying for the expenses because that family did slip through the cracks as far as housing assistance. And so the father started a GoFundMe to collect money for funeral expenses that he didn't even need. And there was a creator who took that GoFundMe, and every one of her followers donated like $1 or $5 because they weren't, like, GoFundMe wasn't listening, saying, look, this guy, you know, he shouldn't have this GoFundMe because he's not actually out money, and he's the one, like he's part of the reason why these kids were living in a van, right? Like, he wasn't paying child support, and he wasn't supporting his children, and he wasn't offering the mother housing support, and they knew what was going on. Like, there's proof he knew what was going on, that they were living in a van. So people tried to stop the GoFundMe, and it wouldn't happen. So this creator had every one of her followers like donate $1 to $5, and then immediately after that raise claims against GoFundMe, saying, hey, I donated, and this is not a legitimate GoFundMe. It was brilliant.
That is brilliant.
I don't think we ever tried that here, and I think it's too late, but man, that would have been good. I never thought about it way back when that happened. It was like last winter.
Well, at least you're creating something that they can go back on and look at and, like, you know, get some closure to, like, because, you know, there's nothing worse than feeling scammed. But I think when you have it all laid out here, you're like, wow, these people, you're the only conclusion if you're a donator is they're a piece of shit.
Yep. Especially, like I said, it's one thing, like, I mean, I'm not perfect, right? And people have gone through financial difficult times, I'm sure, including, you know, us and our family. We lived through the foreclosure crisis. That was rough. And I even worked for a foreclosure mitigation title company. It was just full.
Oh God,
but
that's so sad.
Dude, it was so the owner of our company used to say, it's like working for a funeral. Like, you have a job, right?
Yeah.
You have a job, it has to happen. Nobody likes it, but it serves a purpose. And man, did it did. But anyway, like, rough times have happened in everybody's life, I think. And although I don't know that they've actually experienced rough times, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's not what's happening here. It's not rough times, right? It's somebody who has privilege and availability of wealth and benefits, right? Health benefits that people don't have. Like, when I shattered my leg, thank God for the health benefits. Could have devastated us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Okay, I won't rant too much. I'm sorry. But it pieces of shit is good. That was my long way of saying they're pieces of shit. I hate it so much. And I don't know if you guys have seen my other spreadsheet. It's on the, you know what? Let's do that real quick. I will share. I'll go to all the best research has a Padlet page for the financial stuff. And I'm going to share that screen now so you guys can see. And it's also in the description of the video if you guys want to check it out. But it's got all of this stuff. Go. So the Padlet, which I mean, I'm sure people are familiar with from the pregnancy cases, so now has a separate page for all the financial and probate stuff. So like the bankruptcy, the mortgages, it's still being edited. The lawsuits that aren't directly related to paternity and all that stuff. So the Padlet, which I don't know if you can see very well, back side of it, but it's money burning in the background, which cracks me up still when I see it. So the Padlet has like all of this stuff that I'm showing, and I do believe they'll if they don't have the spreadsheet up that I've shown tonight, they will have it up soon after. But we've got a lot of
go-to for source material. The Padlet's my go-to for source material.
I swear. And so now, like I said, the bankruptcy stuff is there and all of that. I think the probate is also here. It's the probate and the bankruptcy. So yeah, it's still, like I said, it's still being added to, but yeah, all of the loans for the Scottsdale house around here and all that stuff too. So wild stuff. But yeah, that's the description is or the link is in the video description. So if anybody wants to check that out, and anything I've gone over tonight, if it's not there now, it will be. But I wanted to just kind of show that timeline of, all this borrowing, we get an inheritance, we kind of make a good decision, and then right back spiraling into bad decisions. I think they listed that house way over value. I forgot to mention that part. Like, I think they listed it for 4.7 million. It was a lot. They listed it for like 4.65 or something. It was like too much.
It sat.
Yeah, and it sat for November's 9 months. And they lowered the price over time, but they eventually sold it for 3.5. It's funny because now it's actually valued at about they listed it for. Right. That's it, right? Like they make we're not even, besides all of this, these people make $21,000 a month.
Yeah. I'm a lawyer and I don't even come close to that, and I'm actually earning.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And yeah, I missed bringing it up earlier, but Bruce did say earlier that, the Colstrud, payment probably it's probably what happened to some of the money that was taken out either in a mortgage or by GoFundMe. And that was obviously pointless, I guess. I mean, because he's gone now. So
I think that sums them up so perfectly, though. It's never their money,
right?
They're gonna take this loan out and this loan out and repay it with another loan. And even when it comes to like taking care of your own daughter for her shit that she's in, it's never your money, because they still have 21K. Like you can have a payment plan with a law firm, 10,000 a month. Like you can do that, but no,
right.
Yeah.
But then we have, like I said, all of that depleted equity, maxing out the credit lines. Obviously, we stopped paying them. And, late last year, early this year, it stopped paying on those things. And I think that says a lot.
Oh, they're living large right now.
Well, yeah, because they haven't made the list, as far as we know. And I did check. Did I check today or yesterday? I checked the bankruptcy. I checked Pacer, and there's nothing new filed. But they didn't make, what do we say, October and November's plan payments.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make them, so that's why we have the trustee filing for a dismissal.
Yeah, they can't even keep their fucking plan.
Yeah, I mean, their plan's not feasible anyway, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to rehash stuff I've already said, but their plan's not feasible. They can't. It's not affordable, and it won't cover what it needs to cover. So, and I believe they filed their taxes? No, I don't believe they filed their taxes. And a reason why you wouldn't file your taxes is if you had gambling earnings, and I say earnings with a grain of salt, because the way online gambling works with the IRS, and I don't know how many people know this, but you get reported. So, like, let's say I'm playing an online game and I do a slot game, and it's 10 cents per line or whatever. And there's, whatever, it's 10 cents per bet, let's say. And I win $1,000 off my bet. Because my win was so much of a percentage more than what I bet, that is an auto report to the IRS, even if I take that money and spend it again in that machine. So online gambling is reported very differently than in-person gambling. The laws for the IRS have not caught up with online gambling. A lot of people, I believe, are in this wicked cycle where you didn't really make money over a year's time, but the IRS thinks you had winnings because of how they get reported, and that money is taxed.
Yeah, because some people put in like 1 cent and then win 500.
Yep, and that's taxed money, even if you immediately spend it.
Even if you spend it, oh my god.
Yeah. So, I'm curious if that might be maybe the reason that they might be hesitating on filing their tax returns. So Bruce asked, how does the online betting report you? They would need your TIN or SSID. Yes. So when you create an online account, you have to give that information. That's what your account is tied to, and that's for reporting purposes. You have to provide your social security number and your identification. And like some states, if they have like online lotto, they make you provide a copy of your identification as well. So it just depends on the rules for the state and the company. But yeah,
I just figured it was because of their businesses and just how muddy all that got.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that could be too. Because again, she said that she didn't file because she didn't have access to her credit card statements anymore, which is crazy to me. So you didn't plan on filing then, because you're telling me you didn't have records? You didn't keep records on your business expenses? Online gambling is worse than in person. So online gambling is worse than in person is the question from IB. In terms of how it's reported, I believe so. Because like if you go in person and you have your little card, right, that you put in the machine, or however you collect your winnings, you have that little ticket, right? You have a ticket, you take it to the next machine and you dump that whole thing. And let's say you won that same $500, you dump it into another machine, you don't cash that out. So you don't have to report it, right? But online gambling doesn't work that way, and you have to report it. It's really weird the way it works. Yeah. So
it makes sense in like a paper world, because it's like if I go in on a $25 poker tournament, but then I win $10,000, I should have to report that winning, but
Yeah, because you
not
did. It's not anybody's fault that you put it right back in, right? It's just weird that, again, if you're walking on the floor, and if you win a huge amount on the floor, they're gonna take information from you, right?
Yeah.
Like that, the bells go off or whatever, but these smaller amounts that do get reported in online gambling don't necessarily get reported in person gambling. So in my opinion, I just think that the IRS rules have not come up with some scenarios that are going to affect people now that online gambling is really widespread across the country, and especially with, I think sports are on their own. Is it FanDuel or something? You watch
yeah, they have
sports?
their own platform.
Yeah. Wow, to me. So anyway, not to get off track about that, but I think their business is also very much muddled with their personal finances, and they have definitely not separated that over time, and I think they're going to come into trouble because of that. Salvadorian says only non-exempt assets go to the trustee, and they don't really have much. Exactly. So that's like the sticking point with this, right? Is that, and Doreen, please correct me if I'm wrong, but even if this does successfully get transferred or refiled as a Chapter 7, I don't think much changes in terms of what happens to them. They'll be able to keep the house. It might change the way the second mortgage is handled, but I don't know. It's a sticking point for me because I don't see, I guess I kind of stuck on this page. Sorry. I don't see a real, what do you call it? Consequence happening for them. Because let's say that this gets undone, right? And they don't get to file any bankruptcy. And they start getting sued by all these people. I think the worst case scenario is they lose the house, which isn't really that bad, in my opinion. It might be the best thing for them. But all the other stuff, nobody's going to be able to collect. I think most of their income is exempt from being collected against.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. So I wanted to pick your brain. So here, let me.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the documents set up actually.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm going to
I
answer.
think I can present actually.
Yeah, I think you can. You should be able to. Here, let me remove this one. Stop. And let me know if it will. It might ask me. Let's see.
Let's see. Entire screen window. Entire screen.
I lose.
All right. So can you see the victims of Laura Owens documents?
Add to
Oh yeah, I guess you have to present it. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So
perfect. Another great. I should have included this too as another great page to have as a link.
Oh yeah. I like this one for like the most up-to-date filings. And you know what? The one thing I really liked it for was I would always come here because it was super easy to get to Mike's docket from here. You could just click right here. I would always come and just spam that button.
Sadly, my taskbar remembers.
So yeah, I mean a lot of the 2011, 2012, 2018 stuff that really like needs its own video. But I think what I wanted to talk about was just the reopening process and just how quickly it fell off the rails and what to read into that. So like the petition to reopen happens in January of 2025. I'm not going to open it, but it's been basically just, her complaining about why it needs to be reopened. And then this is just more superfluous filing, like it's the Laura Owens special, and then the affidavit in support of all this. So I feel like Gingers is involved also at some point during this whole section. But the one I did want to pull up was the affidavit, because it just really lays out like her grievances as best as possible. And so she's using this to say like what Mark and Dale, like how they violated their duties as a trustee. And then these are like she's talking about the letter she demanded, like, you know, before she instituted legal action. And so I don't want to go over too much of this together, but or because we've done it already. Unless we haven't gone through one of the documents, in which case just let me know and I can stop and read portion of it.
This one, it does. We went through the synopsize it a bit and her emails, I think, but we didn't go through the actual document. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, the misappropriation. I mean, it's juicy. It's very juicily worded. Like, so misappropriation and concealment of estate assets, like the co-trustees, which are her brother and her brother's husband, demonstrated a pattern of financial mismanagement and lack of transparency, particularly regarding the use of estate funds. Just, you know, lots of adjectives. We just love adjectives here. For example, a Bank of America account referenced on page 18 of, I think that's the settlement. Yeah, the non-judicial settlement agreement was not listed as a trust account in the trust agreement provided to me. So basically she's saying like they didn't give me like one page of an account. Meanwhile, this woman can't even keep track of any of her business's own accounts. But she's mad about that. This account supposedly contained $35,000 and was described as having been used for expenses of last illness, funeral, burial, and estate trust. So I think, Tiff, you and I actually talked about this, and I was like, you know, I'm not a trust and estates attorney, and I'm not providing legal advice, but like this argument to me makes sense in terms of if there's a certain portion of the estate set aside to cover certain things, and it only costs X amount of dollars to cover those things, like what would happen to the balance of that money? Do you have any insight into that? Oh, we can hear you.
That's because
Getting better?
Is this better?
Yeah, better.
It's when I changed the view of my screen. So anyway, I can only guess, and I believe just based on what I've seen in trust agreements and in estate documents, is that, you know, anything that's left over basically would get split between the heirs, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's
fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it would maybe be earmarked for something else, like a donation or whatever, you know. But it's a weirdly small amount to have a grievance about. But I think every penny counts when you're Jan Black.
Yeah, when you really want that. Yeah, she is squeezing for every single penny here, which makes it seem even more like purposeful. But you know, so let's assume that she does have this contract. Okay, so I think she makes a good point there. And then health insurance to cover medical expenses from her last illness, which should have minimized additional costs. So this is like making a point without making a point. Is like, you know, even if she did have any medical bills at the end of her life, she had insurance, so she, like, this pot of money wouldn't go towards it, which is a conclusion without any support.
Well, really, when Ron Owens has insurance, but also has $140,000 GoFundMe for medical expenses, right? So which is it, Dan?
Yes. So incredible. I mean, that's why I say they tell on themselves all the time. It's like, just if you want to know what they're doing shady, just read what they're accusing other people of doing. So, and then she says, this leaves an unexplained discrepancy of $31,000 for which the co-trustees have not provided any bank statements or supporting documentation to justify the expenditure. And I think that's probably smart on their part, because the more you give her, the more she's going to dig. And at the same time, they don't legally have to. Like, this it would require another video, but this, like, the trust is closed. So the whole situation here is whether or not, or probate is closed. So the trust really doesn't even exist anymore. And so
And
then
they've stated that. They've stated that.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's their only argument, which is, I think it's actually pretty smart. It's like, don't say too much. Just say what you need to say.
I
Inventory.
do believe. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
okay,
do
go ahead.
believe they have receipts.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because yeah,
They have
you
it.
mentioned.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Sorry,
want
go
to find
ahead.
the part about the grandma's underwear. That shit's crazy. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, this is just amazing lore language. Furthermore, valuable items were described with shocking vagueness. Mother with son in red dress portrait, in blatant violation of New Mexico probate rules requiring an accurate and detailed asset description. For example, the mother and son painting was valued by the co-trustee at a mere $2,500. I was able to retrieve a clear image of it from 1989, where my father, Max, had taken with me, describing the personal property. Using this image, I had the painting professionally appraised through appraisely.com, where it was valued at $25,000 to $35,000. This egregious undervaluation not only highlights their failure to properly assess the estate, but also raises questions about their intent and the true extent of omitted or undervalued assets. Like, that is a whole grievance, girl.
You started with a point about it being vague, and the description being vague, and then we went into a valuation argument, which doesn't, like, first of all, how many mother and son red dress portraits are there?
Is
in
it
the
a
house?
exactly?
Like, why use more words when you have you? Okay.
Oh yeah, the execution of the NJSA under duress. On May 22nd, 2022, the co-trustees presented the settlement agreement to me, ostensibly to obtain my approval for their administration of the trust and to release them from further accountability. Probably because you're a pain in the ass. At the time, I was in urgent need of financial assistance, which seems to be at all times from what we learned in this video. Dr. Gunn conditioned a personal loan on my signing of the settlement agreement, with terms including interest and collateral against my inheritance. I had no knowledge at the time of the discrepancies, omissions, and undervaluations within the estate, as these were deliberately concealed from me. This coercive arrangement violated the fiduciary duties by exploiting my financial vulnerability and withholding critical information, prioritizing their own interests over those beneficiaries. So, although that is like a crazy thing that she said, her accusation is very serious, though, to accuse them, one being a doctor, of a breach of their fiduciary duties. So that's a really serious accusation. Ransacking incident and lack of transparency. The co-trustees alleged that the family home was ransacked on February 22nd and filed a police report. However, they failed to notify me, the co-beneficiary, promptly, only mentioning the incidents days later in a casual conversation. As outlined in my certified letter, I requested an inventory of the missing items and photographs documenting the alleged theft, but the co-trustees have failed to provide any such documentation. Over a year later, after I involved legal counsel, they retroactively described the missing items as stolen, further raising concerns about their mismanagement and lack of transparency. I mean, Critically, I had not been given a key to the home since they changed the locks after my mother's death in 2011, which completely excluded me from access to the property or its contents over a decade. Despite filing a police report, the co-trustees have provided no photographs, descriptions, or comprehensive inventory of the 9 paintings they claimed were missing, vaguely stating, for example, that 2 were their personal sketches. It's just a lot of.
And so, like, if you look at the list of stuff that was actually reported, it's not that big. I don't remember. I mean, granted, I get lost in that document of the inventory document.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think the lost items were that. I just don't think it was a ton of things, right? Like, and also, you never even got the stuff that wasn't, right? She never even picked up the things that weren't stolen, supposedly. So, what is your complaint here? Does she? What? It doesn't make any
It's the
sense.
kitchen sink. It's a kitchen sink approach.
Yeah, and I think Bruce made a really good point. These angry complaints sound similar from Jan and Laura across different documents. They use similar phrasing and style and language, and it's 100% on the mark right there. 100% on the mark.
Oh yeah, it's so eerily similar. It's creepy.
Yeah.
And this is what she was provided after the ransacking. So you see here on the side it says stolen ? I mean, these people are just over it. Like, you know, they have their name. Like, you know, this is basically saying like, okay, we need to decide. Like, she's being told what she needs to decide
over and over.
Yeah, and this is yours. This is mine. Decide. Like, donated. You know, stolen. Contents of cherry corner cupboard china stolen. That's a weird thing to steal. You have to be a very like careful burglar.
I don't want to make accusations, but that is a very interesting thing to steal. You are correct.
Oh, VCR, just in case. Oh, sold. Most stolen collection of toys. See, I mean, so she's being given notice. Like, she's just saying this isn't an accurate description. And I think, you know, for a person who is not, you know, a professional trustee, this is pretty good if you're just a guy off the street. So anyways, she continues to gripe about the neglect of the property, missed rental income. So where all of this is being generated from is she had a lawyer I'll show you. Very interesting. This lawyer that she hired, from what I understand, it kind of seemed like the lawyer thought, okay, you have a case. This is the lawyer's name, Tina Taylor. And then this is Mark's lawyer. And, you know, this is basically their like demand letter to the Owens or to Mark about like what they want because of everything that they see. And so they're basically asking, like, for everything that you did, we want $183,000. Oh, my screen just froze. Oh, there we go. And then this is the interesting part. The email attachment, they write up this, like, it's basically a legal memo on liability for each thing that they claim happened. So, like, I'll skip the details here, but like the duty to inform and report. So they have like the facts of what happened. They accepted this position. However, so this seems like written by a real lawyer. And so, I mean, this is a lot of effort that went into this. I don't know what happened to that lawyer. You know, incontestability provision is highly unusual and seems completely out of character. I looked up this lawyer and they actually have a contract background. So this like kind of approach reminds me a lot. I work with a lot of contract attorneys, and this approach reminds me of what we'd call like a contract teardown. So they basically just went through the trust and just tore it to pieces. So what I think happened is Jan just said, hey, I'm copying and pasting this into ChatGPT, and then I'm going to prompt it to write all of this, like all of my claims, into a notice. So that's why I sort of like started giving up reading around here. And then failure to maintain. So it's everything: emotional and financial harm, improper alteration of the will. Like, that's a crazy thing that she alleges. Unsupported and overlapping expenses. Let's see. Alteration seems crazy. Let's read that. The co-trustees improperly altered the decedent's last will and testament, introducing specific distributions that were not present in the original document. That is crazy. Oh, we can't hear you, Tiff.
I see that.
I can hear you now.
What did they say? Can you read that one more time?
Sure. The co-trustees improperly altered the decedent's last will and testament, introducing specific distributions that were not present in the original document, executed in 2011. These changes are dated August 2023. Wait, hold on. Why were there changes? No.
Okay. She doesn't call out. Aren't you supposed to call out when you make an accusation like this? Aren't you supposed to call out exactly what you're talking about?
Yes, absolutely. Like, where is the will? Like, why is it not there? I mean, unless we weren't provided with a full copy. But yeah, that is a wild accusation to make.
So real quick, before my mic goes out again, because I don't know what the hell's going on tonight. Before we go any further, real quick. So one of our team members, and all the best, reached out to Albuquerque and the county to try to get a copy of the body cam that supposedly Jan and Laura received after the ransacking incident. And there's no record of it. Like, they got two responses, one from Albuquerque and one from the county. There's no record of the
burglary
of an incident regarding that location. So it's weird, right?
I mean, you and I talked about this, and I think that might be a good way to a good thing to bring up before we leave. But I don't think that anyone's hands are clean here. Like, if we take what's being said here as true, that's some pretty serious accusations.
Agreed. And could it be a little bit where it's one of those situations where both can be true, right? Both things can be true. Sure. I still tend to give more what do you call
benefit of the doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah. To them, because I've seen more documentation in their favor, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist otherwise. So that's interesting. So, but it's weird because, like, if they lied about the incident, then why would she lie about having body cam footage of it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. We just got that information back, like, just now.
Well,
so
even if there wasn't body cam, there'd still be a police report.
Yeah. It's a weird response, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine state police would have responded to that, right? Like, that doesn't make sense.
No, I mean, city
and county,
sheriff.
City and sheriff, right? That's what we checked with, city and sheriff.
So then
PD and sheriff, and yeah, neither of them had a thing. So yeah, weird. Anyway, I had to share that real quick.
Wow. No, I mean, that really adds a good context to this, because if they really altered the will after the death, that's just makes no sense. Like, it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But and again, though, I'd like where I have trouble reconciling that is, and not following that line of maybe Mark did some things, is that I have an allegation without anything supporting the allegation. Like, and I got frustrated when I went through her whole letter before, because there would be this allegation and there would be nothing to say in this document on that line. This is where I'm saying they did wrong. There was not that. It was just they did wrong because I say they did wrong. And that's frustrating for me. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
gonna stop now.
where is the altered will? Like, what are you talking about? What substantiates what you're talking about?
What page? What line? Where? What are you talking about exactly? What item even are you talking about that was altered?
So, because of all of these really serious allegations, the judge. So let me just bring us back, zooming out a little bit. So those allegations are that like launches our 2025 probate here. Um, and then this order comes out, which I'm going to get to in a second. And it's really an interesting read because the judge, you'll see, but then they respond, and then she kind of goes crazy again and just keeps refiling things and refiling things. And I'll show you like one that's clearly Chat GPT, which is where I really stopped reading like her stuff closely. But the main things were that like she did have a lawyer, and that lawyer did think she had a case. And there's circumstantial evidence to suggest that, you know, the trustees were not doing a great job with their fiduciary duties.
And
That
so,
I was gonna say, that said, they have a settlement agreement, so I don't know about her ability to reopen probate, but it's this is the judge's decision on it. So I'm sorry, Tiff. You were gonna say something?
so I was gonna say I'm gonna mute myself for a second, because my son and Dom are dropping off my car that they borrowed. So, if you don't
Oh,
hear
that's
me, that's
perfect.
why.
I can
It's on
just
purpose
read through this. That's perfect.
because my dog is gonna bark in a second. So I'm muting.
Okay. Now everyone's mine. Ha ha ha. Okay. Class is in session. It's Socratic method. Hope everyone's ready. Pens, paper. So I mean, I would actually really like everyone's impressions of this. Like, I don't want to give my impression. I'd rather read it and hear everyone else's impression. It's a short order, and I'll try not to use inflection. But this is the judge's order denying Jan's request to reopen and saying that she can refile. So this matter is before the court upon Elizabeth Ann Naylor Owens' petition to reopen probate proceedings, demand for fiduciary accounting, and request for judicial relief, which was filed on January 6th. The petition, oh, he calls it the petition. Yeah, because he's not going to say that a million times. The petition was accompanied by a certificate of service as required by the rule. Thus, the court cannot conclude that the petition was served upon the interested parties. I think that's a typo there. I think he means thus the court must conclude, not cannot conclude. The petition seeks to reopen the matter for a variety of reasons. So yes, it's a variety. How many varieties? 11, 12, 13 varieties. The thrust of which is to undo certain actions of the estate, to require distribution from the estate, to void a settlement agreement, to sanction the co-trustees for breaches of fiduciary duty, and to restore petitioner's rightful inheritance. Very substantive there. Petition at 10. In other words, the petitioner actually wants to reopen this probate matter in order to file a complaint against the co-trustees for wrongdoing, which is legal, and he cites the rule here for it. And then, he actually provides a parenthetical, providing that a civil action is commenced by filing a complaint. Yes, thank you for that, Civ Pro 101. Given the heavy allegations of the petition and the fact that it really seeks to file an opening complaint within this probate matter, the court will not reopen the case without first ensuring that the petition has been served upon the interested parties and that they have had an opportunity to respond as to whether this probate matter is the proper venue for petitioner's complaint against the co-trustees. It is therefore ordered the petition is denied without prejudice. If petitioner wants the petition to be considered by this court, petitioner must file a certificate of service upon the appropriate interested parties as required by the rule. Once briefing is complete on the petition, petitioner shall then submit a full briefing package to the court as required by the rule, if the petition is to be considered, until such time the matter is closed. Signed, Josh Allison. I love the way this guy writes, by the way. It's just very clear. and helpful. But yeah, I want to know, chat, what do you think of that decision? Or do you have any questions about it? And there's like 3 of us here, I'm sure, so I can take a sip of water. No, that you can't answer the question with the question. Well, gosh, dead silence. You ever be on like a Zoom call and it's like no one is talking? You're like, anyone have questions? And people just, so I just lean into that. I'm just like, see how long I can go. I've made it like 45 seconds and I just can't do it anymore. Okay, I won't put dead air on tips.
Did you see my question?
I did, yeah. So what is, I said you can't answer the question with the question.
I just like, because I mean, I heard all the words, right? But like, I don't know what to make of it, I guess.
Yeah, I think reading between the lines here goes a long way. Like this is a very like nurturing way of telling you that you're like that they're dismissing your case. And he's like citing the rules specifically that she needs to follow in order to like make this case have a chance of going forward. But I think the most telling thing was when he said given the heavy allegations of the petition and the fact that it really seeks to reopen, the court will not reopen without making sure that it's served first. So he's basically saying these are really serious things that you're saying here. And even if there is a settlement agreement, this is how I read it. Even if there is a settlement agreement, I'm willing to void that settlement agreement and reopen probate if what you're telling me is true, because it's messed up.
Right. That's fair. And so what I don't know if you looked at the side agreement, but the side agreement is interesting to me. In a pro Jan kind of way, actually. Because the side agreement basically, so it leads up to what I thought happened. They had the settlement agreement and then sold the house, but because of the way they titled the house before selling it, the settlement agreement couldn't be followed in the sale transaction. They
Right.
couldn't take Jan's money and pay it to the Mark and Dale. So the side agreement comes up, right? And the side agreement says we had to make this agreement to nullify the other agreement, but we're really not nullifying the other agreement. Where is the side agreement located?
It's in the giant document.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I hate that document because it's so big, but it's really
This is
best
the promissory
one.
note. It's in mostly chronological order, so it's not too hard to find.
That I redacted. I made. I can probably find the page real quick.
This is the NJSA right here.
Yeah, and then there was. I think I can find the page number.
Promissory. This is the write-up.
Okay, where?
That might be. Here it is.
So, pages like.
It's 84.
It was way down in. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Bruce, I would say unless they pay their taxes, it basically has a 0 chance of going forward. They have to pay their taxes. So unless that happens, and there's no way for us, I don't think, to know publicly if they've filed it. So that's basically the behind the scenes thing that we won't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like, okay, so then when we see the dismissal come across, it'll just say for not complying with the, yeah, so
Right.
we won't know which item they didn't comply, right?
Right.
Okay.
What
That
is the
makes
side
sense.
agreement about, though?
So, like I said, when they sold the house, because they couldn't use the proceeds to pay Mark and Dale back the 80,000 or 60, whatever it was, $60,000 in loans that she owed him.
Oh yeah, the title company says it has to be free and clear of encumbrances.
Yep. So then they basically had to make this not basically, literally had to make this side agreement saying we're we're going to agree that even though we've signed a release,
Yeah,
um
right here. The
that,
parties agree that upon
yeah.
execution of the release, meaning they're going to release her from the other promissory notes, um, which could have been made in connection with the settlement agreement, which is where they were saying we're going to take your money from the loans we gave you out of your estate, out of your portion of the estate, will not be released or discharged. Which makes no sense. What are they saying?
Right. Like okay, as a settlement agent, it infuriates me. Right? Because that's just that mm.
It's not. I'm not even sure if it's enforceable.
Well, that's my thing, right? Is it? That's my question. So I don't know. Um I don't know. I don't know. But does if it's not enforceable, does that mean that I guess it would if they signed a release. We haven't seen the release, right? It would have
No.
probably just been given to the title company.
Yeah. Yeah. And and, I,
Um,
and I'm reading between the lines of the judge's order, like where the judge says, like that. Basically, the judge is saying that it's kind of saying, can this be done in court, or does the side agreement require it to be through arbitration?
mhm.
And here, the side agreement says the governing law is New Mexico law. So I think they're kind of like there, and there is no arbitration agreement here either. So yeah, I mean, she may actually be able to get this thing opened if she can provide any evidence whatsoever of the thing she's saying.
So what I get hung up on is that is this really for the probate court to worry about if the trust was the one handling everything?
Right.
And the probate estate would essentially not have assets. So can you unwind that part of it where the estate, the probate case, transfers everything to the trust, and if the trust is mismanaged, does that unwind the fact that everything was transferred to the trust?
I
I
think to
don't know.
the extent that there's any residual estate, they could take jurisdiction over that. I don't think they could take jurisdiction over prior distributions, but if there is a residual portion of the estate, they 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 could. But I mean, crafting that remedy, I think that's why the judge is giving them is giving her a chance, because it's like, I don't. These courts sit in equity, so they can do what's fair, and there's no such like, you're always going to have the right to petition the court for illegal actions, and a trustee, is a fiduciary, and if they violate, and there's definitions for fiduciary under any state's civil law. So yeah, I think they can fall under the jurisdiction of the court system, especially because they don't have an arbitration agreement within the side agreement. I'm not sure if they would have one within the settlement agreement. So this is the settlement agreement, sorry. Non-judicial. So let's see, applicable law. This non-judicial settlement agreement is prepared and submitted by the co-trustee pursuant to New Mexico Uniform Trust Code. God, they just got really shitty legal advice. I would always put an arbitration clause in here because I never want to go to court over this shit. maybe in the NJSA statute it says arbitration. Let's see. For the purposes of this section, no. Except as otherwise provided in this section, no. A non-judicial settlement agreement is valid only to the extent it does not violate a material purpose of the trust and includes terms and conditions that can be properly approved by the court under the Uniform Trust Code. So it's all talking about New Mexico law. Let's see. Any interested person may request the court to approve the settlement agreement, and the court did approve the settlement agreement, so it's really conclusively done. The Uniform Trust Code was adequate, and to further, the co-trustees present this non-judicial settlement agreement as a proposal for distribution. So it's all under New Mexico law. So yes, so now I think it's even harder to answer your question. It's like the NJSA was approved by the court. Last will order of informal probate. Oh yeah, does the last will have the alteration? No, because it was filed in 2011.
Maybe I can tell you. There's two. For some reason, it's in the court file twice. Like it was filed 2 separate times for some reason. Like it has different stamps on it. I don't know why. But it's the same exact document. It's weird.
Okay, yeah. So it doesn't prove her point there. So let's see. Last will, acceptance of appointment, notice of appointment, notice to creditors, affidavit of publication, motion extension, motion to extend, inventory, disposition order. So this would probably, oops. Oh yeah, I think this happened to me last time. I couldn't get to the disposition link. But they represented that the NJSA was approved by the court. So I bet that, you know what? It's probably freaking at the signature page of this. The state, and then the notary. She signs it, he signs it. Notary notarizes it.
It was an administrative.
What's that?
It was an administrative closure. That's what that document is. It just basically for non-activity. Let me find it. Date 2018. Here.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of affidavits.
Let me show. Let's see if it'll let me. There we go.
Personal loans to Jan. The parties and each of them agree and acknowledge that funds have been advanced or loaned by one or more of the fiduciaries personally to Jan. The sum of said loans is $45,000 plus accrued but unpaid interest thereon, and is due on a continuing basis. In the event said loans are not paid by the time of sale of residence, the sum due thereunder shall be repaid in accordance with the terms of certain promissory notes from proceeds from the sale of the residence. Oh, they must have been like, "Mwah, we're done." To which Jan would be entitled to as a beneficiary. True and correct copies of the promissory notes are attached. So she owes them 45 G's basically. And do we know if she withheld that? If they withheld that somehow? Or ever got it?
They never got, because they filed a claim in the bankruptcy for it.
Oh my God. So what is this woman even talking? She's been unjustly enriched then.
Right.
They could file a lawsuit against her for unjust enrichment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they never got it because they couldn't get it out of the sale of the house and they didn't have anything else to withhold it from. So, and they gave her another loan after that settlement agreement. So that maybe the side agreement wouldn't affect. That was another $20,000, I think. Here, let me show you this.
Yeah, that wouldn't affect it. That would be completely separate.
This is that form you were looking for. There's nothing, sorry. There's nothing private on this, so it's okay that it's not. This is that document from 2018 that you were looking for. Yep.
Yeah, this matter having come before the court on its own motion, it appearing that no significant actions have taken in 180 days in connection with any of the pending claims, it is therefore ordered that all pending claims are dismissed without prejudice. Within 30 days after service of this order, and any party may move for reinstatement. If other parties have filed an appearance, move-in shall comply with the rule. Failure to comply with these requirements may result in denial of the motion without a hearing. It is further ordered that all writs, judgments, final orders, or stipulations previously filed herein shall remain in full force and effect unless otherwise ordered. Okay, no, it doesn't say. It can be read in a way that says that. That says.
This predates the settlement agreement.
Wait, could you explain that to me?
The settlement agreement, the non-judicial settlement agreement, was from 2022, I want to say. So, I don't know. I don't know. It's weird.
The petitioner's objection.
I can stop sharing this now.
Yeah, I'm seeing in their petition in their response, in Mark's response, does Mark say that they accepted it? Just looking here. On March 3rd, respondent again notified Eno's lawyer of the contents of the settlement agreement and again requested Eno's lawyer to advise respondents as to when Eno planned to pick up the personal property stored in the storage locker. Eno's attorney never responded to respondent's communication. On October 31st, Eno, acting pro se, delivered a demand letter to respondents where she threatened criminal charges. Above all, no one ignored Eno's request. And any assertion of non-distribution is misleading and false. Any allegation of self-dealing or fraudulent activity is meritless, and none of the allegations have any relevancy to the personal property matter. Finally, none of Eno's allegations have any relevancy to whether representation can proceed as requested. Exactly. But I want to see if they mention up here the non-judicial settlement agreement. So this is their response to her crazy affidavit, to all this shit. So they say, Eno misunderstands the petition for court approval of withdrawal of counsel and substitution of counsel. Exactly, because like I want everyone to know this all happened because the poor old man that Mark has been using as his attorney just wanted to fucking retire. And he had to file a simple piece of paperwork to say, I'm tired. And that piece of
Jan's
paper.
like, I'm tired.
Jan said, hold my beer. So that's where this all started from. So that's why they're saying she does not understand what's happening here. The petition only requested this court to allow Mr. Summers to represent Mark as the personal representative of the estate of Jan's mom and as a trustee. As a pro se litigant, Eno is held to the same standard as an attorney, and she should therefore understand that an estate and trust are not legal entities which are capable of representation or being clients. It should go without saying that there is no request to represent the estate and the trust as legal entities, since neither legal construct is a legal entity capable of representation. The petition only seeks the representation of the two individuals in their respective capacities. Eno's objections to the proposed order approving substitution is therefore meritless because the petition does not seek to represent the estate or the trust. So, the petitioner's objections. Yeah, she says she consents. She has no. So they're narrowing the issue here, and we reread this. Oh no, we didn't. Sorry, their statements are false or misleading. Eno levels the falsehood that to date no personal property has been distributed to her from the trust. This allegation is false or misleading. Eno received numerous communications from respondents over the past 2 years, which requested Eno to gather her share of the personal property kept in a storage locker. Overall, the circumstances established that, yeah, really, I want that. The personal property of Eno, but Eno has systematically refused to collect her personal property. The circumstances also tend to establish that Eno has used this personal property issue as a wedge to threaten meritless litigation against respondents. And I think you and I talked about that, Tiff, about how maybe there's a strategy behind not picking up the personal property because it gives her like a narrow window to say probate isn't technically closed because she hasn't gotten the full distribution.
Like everything else Jan does, I don't think it's on purpose necessarily. I think it's a happy accident, right?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. I agreed with you on that. Yeah. Okay, perfect. This is what I was looking for. It is difficult to address each false or misleading allegation without providing a brief background of the non-judicial settlement agreement. To settle the distribution of Eno's mom's estate, plaintiffs and Eno's, the parties, entered into a settlement agreement which provided for the accounting and distribution of the estate assets into the trust, as required pursuant to the terms of Grandma Naylor's last will and testament. So that's probably why it's in here twice. And it's probably stamped twice because they requested it at different times. The settlement agreement contained accounting and distribution statements that detailed all the property transferred to the trust from the estate and included a release and waiver of any further accountings and a release and waiver of all claims related to the accounting, the administration, and the distribution of the estate and the trust. The parties executed the settlement agreement in June of 2022. Eno received more than what she was entitled to under the settlement agreement, but never collected her share of the personal property. So that's a really interesting tell right there, that they did not say that it was approved by the court. Because if we look at the law on NJSAs, it's enforceable in principle without the court accepting it, but it's maximally effective if the court does accept it. So like I said, I mean, I think it's heinous that she's pursuing this action, and you really got to be, someone with an axe to grind to go this far, but it's not wrong.
I think it's desperate too. Like, and I think every move they make is desperate, especially now, right? Because the timing of this matters so much, right? This petition to reopen the estate was filed literally days after the GoFundMe launched. And as we're clearly planning to file bankruptcy because we're not paying our mortgage, we're not paying our first mortgage or second mortgage, we've stopped paying credit cards, we've stopped paying on other accounts, right? And so there's this shift and acknowledgement into what the next phase is. And I think that all of that really lines up with what's happening here too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it's desperation.
It reeks of it, and it's the amount of time and effort that went into it is terrifying. But I'm reading this here, the subsection C of the non-judicial settlement agreement statute. It says, this is important, it's valid so long as the terms and conditions could be properly approved by the court under the Uniform Code. So they're saying it's valid if hypothetically it's enforceable. And I think that's important because the settlement agreement says anything in here that's not valid must be conformed to meet the statute. Sorry, go ahead. And then this subsection E, this is like the super protection. Any interested person may request the court to approve a non-judicial settlement agreement to determine whether the representations as provided in the Uniform Code are adequate to determine the agreement that contains the correct terms and conditions. So this is an optional extra piece of protection that they didn't do. Again, probably just bad legal advice. But also they were probably scared that this wasn't going to get approved. So that's why I'm like, this shit kind of has legs. But
it's definitely interesting. So I think this is kind of the theme, right? Like, they never even tried to establish wealth, let alone pay their bills. Such horrid money management. And I've been through my 20s, right? Can't even imagine having a mortgage at 80 years old. Yeah, so yeah, it's surprising. And so yeah, Laura Jane says, I have a mortgage at 65, however, I have over 180K in equity. And that's right. Like, that's the thing. If you're still paying off your mortgage at a certain age, sure. But I mean, this mortgages they have on the Scottsdale property are just over a year old, and they are in the millions, and they are underwater, and it's shocking. So anyway, I'm so glad that you went over those things that I glossed over, really. Like, I wouldn't hone in on that if I tried. Right?
Yeah, I was actually surprised that it had an interesting aspect to it.
Yeah.
And there were some other interesting details in there, like the loans that his husband was making to the estate, you know, $1,000. I think, you know, there's some things that could be said about that. But overall, I was expecting this to just be open and shut. I think my first comment was like, how is this even a thing? But the more I look at it, the more I'm like, man, I wish we could sit in on this hearing whenever it does happen.
Right, because it's very it's interesting. Like I said, it's and so shout out to CM who got all of these documents, because I tried, it became difficult, and I gave up. Because it's like, it's probably not important anyway. But I wish I would have, but at least she was working on it, and I'm so thankful for that, because this is like eye-opening. And I mean, I don't know, like I said, I didn't pay attention. Okay, so hold on a second here.
Yeah.
So one of those loans was given to her after the settlement agreement.
Yeah, you said that.
What I want to see is what that promissory note looks like. Hold on a second here. Let me find. I just renamed all of them to make them easier to find, and then, you know, here. So I can go ahead and share the screen right now. I think that's, yeah. So I just want to real quick skim down to the last one, which was from February. I think that settlement agreement was like in July of 22, but whatever. It's crazy to me.
They gave her more money. How much more
Yeah,
money?
they gave her more money. Yeah, they gave her more money. Like, after she had taken out a huge loan on the house, after she hadn't paid them back on the sale of the New. This is after they gave her more money after the sale of the New Mexico house.
And then she sued them.
Yeah, right. Like, it's so wild.
Well, I think you don't want to see your sister be homeless, but also I don't think if he had the perspective of her financial situation that we do, that, you know, he would reward that kind of behavior.
Right. Exactly. It's okay. Wait.
Because her hugs and kisses emails, like when she's asking for the money, makes it seem like she's got it all coming in.
Okay, so this is interesting. Do we not have the 2023 note? I don't think we do. We have the emails. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do. Nope, that's December of 21. Hold on. What's this? Burp, burp. Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to make everybody dizzy with this. I'm trying to see where the 2023. Here we go. I wanted to see what the collateral was listed as, because in the other notes, the collateral is here. Borrower agrees to provide commensurate value. I hate that word. Of money plus interest and fees of borrower's interest in the estate, referred to as security, which shall transfer to the possession and ownership of the lender. If this note should be in default, the security may not He sold or transferred. So I wonder if they just regurgitated the note they already had.
Yeah, because there is no estate.
Right. At this point, there isn't. It's done. It's over. So that's an interesting. I just thought of that just now. Like how was it worded?
Mhm.
Because I was thinking that this might be the one if, and let's say the others get thrown out or whatever. This might be the one that sticks because it doesn't get released in that agreement because it doesn't exist yet. Right. So it's
Or
know,
they
it's just a thought I
they
had.
know she's getting ready to file bankruptcy.
I mean, this is from February of 23.
Right.
I don't know.
But the security doesn't exist. So when you have a security that doesn't exist, you can't
Oh,
have
you're
a
thinking
security agreement.
maybe I follow what you're saying. Yeah, maybe there's some playing with dates here. But I don't know I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because there's plenty of debt to wipe out. Like, there's no reason really to file a false claim, in my opinion, with the bankruptcy.
Yeah,
Because
why would no? There's no reason to
it's
mess around with it.
drowned in the other debt, right? Like
Yeah.
literally
There's no-
$500,000 plus other debt. So I don't know. I find that I went down that rabbit hole once, but I'm like, but that doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that?
So the borrower's interest in the estate of Elizabeth Naylor referred to as this. So maybe she has like a bank account that has that money.
Or the property. It could be the property, right? I mean, there's still property sitting in a storage
Yeah, the
unit.
property, yep.
So that's gotta be
That's
it.
it. Because
That would make
I think the property equals about 10,000, like her share of the property.
yeah. Yeah. That absolutely does make sense. The fact that
So
she's
basically, here's $10,000. I'm keeping all of mom's stuff.
yeah. So
But
that
then
would be maybe
they're also indicating that that the estate's still open. So that's why
I was just saying that. Get out of my head. I was just thinking that.
I mean,
Like, this doesn't say the trust. It says the estate. Wild.
I mean, this is why, yeah, you can tell the judge starts running out of patience with her though. When the judge grants the second continuance, he's like, "You've had 4 months to get a lawyer. Like, this is the last continuance I'm granting." And then, of course, Mark requests a continuance like right after. So this judge is I think is going to be very terse with these people.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Wendy's still here, and I'll connect with her offline. I would love somebody to explain this math to me, because I don't get it. I don't know how he gets to 136,703 here, but that can be a question for another day. It's just, it's weird.
Cash advance to the trust. Wait, so as set forth as a 50% beneficiary, Eno's obligations to Mark as set forth in the provisions of the settlement agreement and reaffirmed in the side agreement. So her portion of the estate was 50% of cash advances to the trust, 50% of EWN, the mom's will okay.
That's the 5% bonus they got for being trustees. That's Jan's half of the 5%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Schwab and then promise.
Actually,
So really the only thing that matters is the promissory note. But yeah, so I think the way they get this number is the promissory note's wrong. It should be 45,000, not 65,000.
Oh no, it is 65. Hold on. There's 5 loans.
Oh.
Here we go. Yeah, there's 5 loans. It's yeah, it adds up to 65.
Dang. So
Yeah.
that's her interest.
Yeah. So what they didn't do is they didn't add these numbers in the column, but this is 65 plus interest.
Oh, I got you.
Plus, yeah, they wired money in between the same bank, which blows my mind too. But anyway,
And why do you think they like listed those other items out, the 50%, 50%?
well, I guess technically they didn't receive if she received an exact 50-50 on the sale of that house.
Mhm.
And these first three things that should have come back to them didn't. Is that collectible in a bankruptcy? Or claimable? I don't know. Because
Well, if what's not collectible.
okay, so like let's just go with the first one. So like those advances that Mark and Dale, or Dale, whichever one, or
Right.
both, advanced the estate over 12 years.
Right.
Jan's half of that is $46,000. Since that was never paid back to them out of the sale of the house,
Yeah.
they're saying she owes them still her half of it.
Right.
Yeah,
because it looks like it could be double dipping. You have to make the assumption that they didn't recoup that from the sale of the house.
right.
But I'm pretty sure it's easy to make that assumption because it was split 50-50, the sale of the house. So we know already that it didn't make them whole. They were already entitled to 50% of that property, regardless of the advances. The advances were just in addition to the value of the property. It was the value of the advances. But it's like, where would that money should have come from the estate. So you'd have to assume that the estate has that money for her to have.
It's
Irrecoverable.
well, and I think where they may have gone wrong even was there was a bank account that was part of the trust upon death, and it had like 250,000 in it or something. I think they paid that out right away.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they should have done that if they were going to keep the house. Maybe they didn't plan on keeping the house and just became a thing because she would never come help them clean it out.
Yeah.
And rather than put everything in storage and pay for everything to go in storage, they just kept it, waiting on her.
And they're reasonable people, so they like obviously marked that as storage as a fee.
Yeah, I think that they are non-confrontational.
What's that?
I think they're non-confrontational. Like, I think that they're, you know what I mean? So they're very passive and kind of just go with the flow with her. And, like, don't rock the boat kind of thing. And that may have dinged them a bit in this situation because they didn't stand firm on some things. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they'd be 100% walking away with no money at this point. Like, they'd be fine with that. They just want to be done with this because even their approach, like their lawyer's approach, is the simplest approach possible. They're not asking for anything. They're just saying, let us substitute this poor old man out and reaffirm that the settlement agreement is done.
Yeah. I think this has the possibility to become so much more work than it's worth. And that's nerve-wracking a little bit because, even the things she's asking for a full forensic accounting. That's not free.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think that's going to be eaten? Right. How do you think that's going to be eaten up? How do you think that's going to be paid for?
I just don't think the judge can craft a remedy here. Like, I think he's sort of giving her day in court, like for due process consideration, but like, I don't know how you craft a remedy here.
It's kind of how I feel about the bankruptcy too. Like, sure, file it. We'll look at what you have, but probably not. You know what I mean? Like, we'll let you go through the motions.
Do you know offhand when the dismissal becomes like effective?
December 18th is the day they have to cure by. So yeah. So it's
and what do they have to do to cure? Do you know?
They have to provide proof that they've filed their state and federal taxes. hold on, let me go back quick. They have to go. I'm just going to pull it up and read it because I don't want to get it. Matter of fact, here, let's switch it around real quick, and then we'll end on this because I've kept you way too long.
Oh, I appreciate that. I could talk to you about this stuff all day. So
Same.
we do, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it.
Exactly. Audience. So they have to resolve the issues above. Okay, wait. Let's go back. They failed to file their 23 and 24 tax returns for state, and 2024 federal, plus the business stuff for state too, which I don't think is going to be much, but anyway, you still have to do it. They have failed to comply with the tax requirement of the stipulated order confirming the plan. And they have not made the two payments, October and November. They've missed 2 payments already. So they really just made 1 payment, it sounds like, because they're behind $31,200, which is exactly 2 payments. And then they can either, within the 30 days, they can resolve the issues, request a hearing. So maybe we'll see that. Although I don't know how that's going to benefit them if they haven't done anything. And then, or they can convert to Chapter 7, and this is literally the way it's stamped on the doc, and it's frustrating. But the other item here, number 4, is that they file a modified plan, because their plan isn't viable the way it is. They need to file a modified plan.
Do you think there's any plan that the trustee would accept that's less than what they originally offered?
I don't see.
Because they're just paying 1 note through their plan.
Yep, that's it. And they're already 2 months behind on it, right? Like, I mean, I see them. So now, because life comes full circle sometimes, I work on pre-foreclosure files now. And I see a lot of bankruptcies where the stay has, afforded the borrower the ability to put it off for a while, but eventually it falls apart, and it falls apart for these reasons. They don't submit a viable plan. They don't follow the rules they're supposed to follow, and they miss payments. Like, missing payments is, I saw one. They made out of 60 payments, they made 54.
Oh, wow.
And like, oh my gosh, what?
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
It really is. A lot of people I feel sorry for, because a lot of people just fall on hard times, right? I see some who have filed a few times, and it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there. But here, thank you to my rescue again. They can amend to cure the payments that are behind. Right. Yeah. And it's about to be 3 months behind, which is true. Right. Very close, next week. But their payment won't be less, it'll be more. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
that is very well said.
Literally, all the best people were asking me a question, and I'm like, hold on, let me ask Doreen, because I wasn't answering it the right way. So then I copied her answer and told them, they're like, yeah, she said it way better than you. She's that little expert.
And so in your experience, like, let's say the dismissal happens, like, is on day 1, are they getting foreclosed on, or how does that happen?
I mean, it'll go back through the paces a little bit in the background with the lender, right? What I see happen a lot is the case is dismissed, and within a couple of weeks, the lender reinitiates the pre-foreclosure process, right, with the notifications and stuff. A stream on foreclosures, just foreclosures. It's going to vary by state, but what I did learn about Arizona is there's a redemption period.
Oh, wait, hold on. We're losing you. Okay, you're back. Oh, no, we lost you again. Sorry. Hold on, we lost you, Tiff. changing windows. So, yeah, my prediction is that they'll file for the hearing, then they'll give notice of the Chapter 7, and that'll be like that's the farthest they can kick that can. Yeah, it still cuts in and out.
Hello.
So that's great. Yeah, got it.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk right into my laptop.
Oh, today I couldn't get my Zoom mic to work, so I had to call in. So I'm on the Zoom on like speaking through the phone. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, I totally don't even know the point I was trying to make. Oh yeah, they'll kick it down the road as long as they can, and then eventually the lender will get back on the foreclosure action. The thing about Arizona is you have to be at least 120 days behind, which check mark, we already have that. And then they give you notice. The notice is a 90-day notice, so they can't schedule the sale any sooner than the 91st day after the notice, right? So they'll give you a notice and then they'll schedule the sale 91 days later, and then the sale happens and it's boom, done.
Yeah.
No redemption. Like you don't get a chance to pay it off that day. It's done.
Holy crap. And
Like in
then
Michigan,
theoretically they just kick you out of your house?
Yeah, then they will file after that, they'll file an eviction, and it has to go through whatever the notice this, requirements are for eviction. Same as if they were renting, right? So it's not you're on the street the next day, but it's gonna be quick. Like in Michigan, we get 6 months to redeem after. So if we have a sale and we get 6 months to sell or refinance before the foreclosure is completed.
I see. So they may try to sell.
Yeah, they could sell between their notice date and the sale date, but after that, in Arizona, it's boom, done. That's it.
Yeah, 90 days. That thing should be on the market now.
Well, and I mean, can they afford to sell it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, unless there's a stash somewhere, I don't know, because they'd have to pay off both mortgages to sell. It's a bad situation. It's a bad situation to end up in. Like, it's a bad situation to end up in. I think that getting rid of the house is their best option though, really. Like,
well, if they go Chapter 7, can they keep their house?
Yeah, because they don't have any equity. So there's that exemption that you get for equity, right? It's in the negative. So there's like they meet the exception for it. They could keep the house, but then I believe the difference between 13 and 7 is that, and hopefully Doreen's still here, is that second mortgage will not get stripped necessarily in the same way, and they would be able to go after Sarah and Christian for that HELOC, which is $200,000.
And then in that situation, then they're selling the house because they have to save Sarah and that guy, right? So they're selling. So the house is sold.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, and it's hard to say. Like HELOCs, they also have a tendency to just go away. Like they don't actually collect a lot in a first mortgage foreclosure situation. However, the difference is this is a large HELOC. Like this is the cost of some people's houses, right? I say $200,000 lightly, but it's a lot of money, and they might be more inclined to collect it on it, especially if they have a viable collection option. So yeah, that's the thing, right? Oh, that's the thing on the Chapter 7. They do have to work out a plan, right? I think they have to work out. They have to come to an agreement on it, I believe. I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Chapter 13 is going to work out for them. Just doesn't seem practical
No.
to get that plan approved. And then if they have to go the Chapter 7 route, I think they're still in a pretty tough spot. If there is no way to extinguish all of the liens on their house, they're gonna have to sell that house. Like they don't have any other way of making money.
Right. And like I said, I think letting that house go might be their best option, to be honest. Because, like I said, most of their income, I think, is exempt from collection, right?
Yeah.
So go rent a condo, buy a trailer, I don't know what. But you've got 21 grand a month coming in. Figure it out outside of that house.
I mean, maybe this is Laura's time to shine. She starts coming out, making the loans, like if there's a way for this family to get out of paying for shit on their own, they'll definitely do it. I will say, I don't think anything like that they've done is necessarily illegal. I think some of it's really sketchy, but it is a textbook case of like how not to manage your money.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think there are questionable circumstances around how they got loans for that amount of money on this house. That is clearly not that value, but that would take an investigation to figure out, because I can only say what I think. And I see a lot of fraud happen in my industry that just never gets investigated. No, actually, their total mortgage payments are, let's say 13, maybe 14,000 and some change total. So the reason right now that their bankruptcy payment plan is so high is, I'm sorry, I promised people I would read the comments because some people are just listening. So the question is, the mortgage payments in total are over their income, right? And the answer is no. They actually can just barely afford these mortgages if they don't have any other bills. Together, like I said, it's about 14,000 in total. Right now, their bankruptcy plan is set at 15,600 because it includes trustee fees and it includes about $78,000 in back payments to the first mortgage lender because they haven't made a payment since November of 24. So it has negative escrow and back payments that are due. Like it literally has the same principal balance as when that loan started now. Like nothing has dented that loan.
Yeah. So they're to Sour Doreen's point, like they're gonna need the nicest mortgage officer on planet Moon.
Yeah, so sorry, again, I keep forgetting to read out loud. Sour Doreen says, I do see the mortgage company agreeing to modification of their mortgage to take care of the delinquency. If that happens, they get to keep the house. Yeah. So I don't think it's uncommon because it's money to foreclose. It does cost money to foreclose, and then you have an REO, an asset that you have to also dump, right? Like it costs money to foreclose. They don't necessarily like doing it, but a modification won't save them. If history serves, right? A modification won't save them. It'll help for a little bit, but it won't save them.
I think they are. Yeah, my prediction is they just kick the can as far down the road as they happen, and then we really can't predict anything farther past Chapter 7. But I guess my last question would be like, to the extent that it gets converted to Chapter 7 and things like may get worked out with the mortgage company, would that be public information?
Yeah. So if they do a modification, it'll get recorded. And
Mm.
the fun thing about modifications is they typically have more details on them than even the mortgage originally had. So we'll get to see, exactly what differences and accommodations are being provided for in that mortgage, in that modification agreement.
Well, I mean, they have been running into dead end after dead end. So I, for one, just for the sheer grift of the GoFundMe, I hope they don't get a good Chapter 7 or mortgage officer or whatever they're
Right.
called.
Right.
Because these people have really done a lot of harm to themselves and to the public.
Well, and they won't learn anything, right? Like I think that they definitely need to learn a hard lesson here. Even if everything goes sideways for them, will they learn? Probably not. It'll be the smear campaign and the JFC and it'll be Mike's fault for some reason, right? Like but that doesn't mean it shouldn't happen, even if they don't learn from it. I don't know. The more I look, I
Thank you
just
so
get
much
more
for
interested.
having me, Tiff. I wanted to chat with you about all of this because I didn't really think there was anything there for probate, and I've been kind of taking a break from the criminal stuff. It's just so when I saw that there was something there and it gave me an excuse to reach out to you, I was really pumped.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you being on. Everybody was like so geeked for it when I said, "Hey, Patrick's coming on with me."
Oh, cool.
And I appreciate you working through my technical equipment issues that I will solve by the next one. But we'll say goodbye to everybody for now, and we'll figure out another time to talk about more stuff as long as you guys are willing to listen, I think.
Yeah,
Thank you guys.
absolutely. Have a great night, everyone. Bye, Tiff.
Bye. Okay, I gotta hit 2 buttons.